Chapter 3. The Fairy Godmother. "Where is this path leading?" Shaoni asked while skipping backwards, facing the wizard coming behind. There was a sort of lightness around. Shaoni could feel it in the air, as if the birds were happy and thankful for a glorious day. Butterflies were swirling around the wizard while he was walking down the path towards the waterfall. It was as if everything was coming over to greet him, telling him how happy they were to see him, like greeting a dear friend who had been away for far too long. They arrived at the waterfall and sat down to rest by the lake that had formed by its feet, as if to give the water a moment to rest after its weary travels down the mountain slopes. They had barely sat down when a fairy-like lady came up to them. Maybe floated would have been a better way of putting it. As she graciously advanced towards the lake, she hardly touched the grass that she walked on. "How is the man of the source today?" she asked Aniola with a melodious voice long before she had reached them. "And who is the boy you bring to my lake?" "Hello to you too, Mahali, my sister," Aniola replied. "How lovely to see you, and how wonderful it is to be back in this haven of tranquility that you have created. I see the birds are still happy, and the waters in peace, all as they should be." "Aye," said the lady, "how else could it be? For they all follow their path, and none worry about the day to come. But tell me, my dear wizard brother, who is the boy here by your side?" Shaoni shuffled a little and moved his weight from one leg to the other. For some reason he had immediately felt a deep feeling of love and respect for this wonderful creature. Deep in his heart, he silently hoped that the wizard would show him some respect when introducing him to this wondrous, beautiful essence now standing right in front of him. "The boy who was walking by my side," the wizard said, "came to me in search for the light, and leading him in his quest, I thought what better place to go to then than to visit the Lady of the Lake." Shaoni didn't understand the deeper meaning of what Aniola had just said, but when he looked up, he knew it would be just fine. The lady looked at him, her eyes filled with a deep, soft tenderness as she said, "Then, my dear boy, what else can I do but to open my heart and invite you into my little kingdom?" She said it with a smile in her eyes, a sort of twinkle, almost as if to give a secret sign to the wizard. Shaoni felt it, but for some reason this only added to the feeling of sheer ecstasy which seemed to have fallen over him. It was as if this woman was looking straight into his heart, as if she understood every single aspect of who he was, and she approved of all that she saw without the smallest reservation. Another wave of joy passed through Shaoni, although he couldn't figure out why he felt so happy. "A young boy in search of the light. It is nice to see the world awaken," Mahali said with a dreamy voice as she sat down by the water. "Come and sit beside me, my dear boy," she went on, now addressing Shaoni directly. "Indeed, you have come to the right place, and I am happy you came." Shaoni's whole body felt like jelly as he went over to sit down beside the woman who, to him, could be nothing less than the fairy godmother in person. "And now," Mahali continued while looking at Aniola, "tell me about your voyages, my dear brother. For a long time has gone by, and I am eager to hear where your feet have taken you, and what wonders they have brought you to you." As they sat down beside the lake, all of nature around became quiet, as if not to miss a single word of what was about to be said. Shaoni tried to follow what was being said, but soon felt himself lost in the stories he didn't understand the context of. Sometimes he heard his name, and then for a while concentrated on what was being said, but for some reason it was as if Aniola was talking in a strange language, and although Shaoni could understand the words, he sort of couldn't grasp the meaning of what was being said. They talked for hours, And when evening had fallen and they had eaten the fruits that the forest had brought, and drank the water that the lake had offered, the lady turned to Shaoni and said, "So I hear, my dear boy, you are looking for the light. Well then, come the morning I will bring you a little of my wisdom to help you understand and lead you further along your path." Shaoni wanted to ask what it was that she was going to teach him, but couldn't bring himself to say the words, as if he felt that anything he would say would sound crude or impolite or out of place. "Come now, my boy. Let me show you a place to rest, for your voyage has been long, and it is time now to dwell in my garden for a while and find out about the beauty of creation." The next day Shaoni woke up by the sound of the lady singing by his side. A most wondrous song it was that made his whole body vibrate. Shaoni didn't open his eyes right away, but lay quietly listening to the song, and as he listened, he heard how the whole of nature around was singing with her, in tune, in harmony. "Hello," said Mahali when the song was over and Shaoni had opened his eyes. Her voice sounded like little bells, and every bell resonated with the frequency repeated by nature. "Will you come and sit beside me for a while, and listen to the sounds of creation? Just for a few minutes, and then we will have breakfast, for I guess you will be hungry too." Shaoni would have said yes to whatever Mahali suggested. If she had asked him to make a wish, this is exactly what he would have wished for. Not just the listening to the birds or the breakfast or the fact of sitting beside this wonderful being. What he felt went way deeper. It was the realization of the deepest wish anybody could ever wish for. It was the feeling of being in harmony within himself, and in harmony with the whole world around. A bird started to sing. The waterfall played its song in the background. Then came a rustling from a nearby bush. And the more Shaoni tuned into the sounds he heard, the quieter his mind became. As they sat there for a while, Mahali suddenly asked, "If you could make a wish now, any wish, what would you wish for?" Shaoni almost shook when he heard these words. Was she able to read his mind too? Or had he really walked into the fairy godmother's garden yesterday evening? Shaoni thought of all the things he would have wished for had someone asked him the same question yesterday, but for some reason, all of these wishes sounded ridiculous to him now. He didn't know what to ask for. "I don't know," he finally said. "Maybe just to stay here?" He was kind of afraid of the answer, as if this would be the only thing he was not allowed to ask for. "Well now, Shaoni, my dear boy," Mahali said, "what you really long for but cannot pinpoint is the feeling of harmony you sense within. It is what happens when all of your cells resonate in harmony with all that is around. In that moment, everything seems to come to a standstill. You can feel all and everything around, and you understand that all is perfect. That, however, is not a place, but a state of being. I can offer you the state of being so you can take it with you wherever you go. It will be in your heart for you to revive whenever you want, any place, any time." "Breakfast!" Shaoni suddenly yelled out, surprised of his own sudden reaction, and burst out laughing. This was indeed the most perfect morning in the world, and nothing could add to its perfection. So, was it the fairy godmother, or was it just the wizard's sister? One thing is for sure. Before they left this wonderful garden, a garden where all beings indeed lived in harmony, Mahali showed Shaoni how to make his own cells vibrate and feel the harmony from within.